What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Unreal Engine 5 game development live stream. We're back in our Deck Knight project again, built from scratch using Unreal Engine 5, C++, blueprints, the gameplay ability system plugin, and all of that good stuff. So today we're going to continue again on our journey for our projectile pulling system. We're almost done. I feel like we're so close. What we're working on, we're going to work on some shape configuration, some shape generation, just so we can give ourselves some flexibility on how we want some projectiles to spawn at runtime. So I did a little bit of this yesterday. So we have a fragment for shape where we could define cone and a circle. So for example, if I make, if I make a circle, if I can spell, we have a radius. And so when my enemy spawns, and he uses the attack, he'll shoot a circle with 10 projectiles, like that. And then if I change that to a cone, he will shoot in a frontal cone. So we have that much working. I want to do a spiral shape, and again, I'm gonna use AI to help me with the formula because I don't know shit about nothing. Just to generate the spiral shape. But I also want to introduce either in the shape or as in the base option, because you can have spawn and claim projectiles in shape. And so maybe if there's no shape, we have to just assume something, but otherwise this could also, I don't know why it's making me open it like that. Because we also have spawn and claim projectile. And I feel like this should be plural. Just so you can shoot projectiles in a forward direction if you really wanted to do anything, but maybe its shape could be, also straight. But yeah, let's start. Let's introduce, because I know I want to have this like spawn delay, you know what I mean? So I'm wondering where that would go, or where that would make sense to go. Would it make sense to do, spawn delay here, have a fragment for that? Might be just too much fragment generation, honestly. So I could probably make it, I wonder if I add it to the base shape fragment, it'll always be there for the rest of them. I assume so, because if it's inherited. Just see if AI will generate documentation how I want it to be. So basically it's just saying I guess because it's hidden, I can. If I make it blueprintable, it's fine. So I'm just curious if this will at least be inherited down the instance struct chain. If not, then that's all we care about at the moment. If it does, we have to see. Our kitty's being super duper cute, and I can't resist petting her because she's adorable. Can't really see her too well. Let me see if I can twist the camera a bit into frame so you can see her. Now you're on camera, boo boo. Yay! We love her. She's the best. Okay, so we compiled successfully, so that's good. I didn't even know you can move this. I just realized you could drag this around. Well, let's see. Oh, it does. Okay. We'll leave it like that. So essentially what I mean by this is I would assume I need to make a lambda. So if we go to our subsystem and we spawn the shape, we construct the shape, it's basically within here, right? So we gotta say so if, I guess I should make a float, right? So float, spawn delay. I guess I could just say that, except it's going to be shape. And I need to do this as well. So if, I could just do F, projectile, shape, base fragment. Grab you, bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. I could say F. By default, it'll be -1, right? So, not sure if this is the best way to handle it, but we're going for it. Okay. So if it's greater than 0, that's when we want to do stuff wrapped in a kind of a lambda. So I always forget the syntax for a lambda. I guess it would have to be a timer as well, right? So I think I need to do... Can I do get world on this? Yeah. Or do I have to do a delay? I ought to write this in blueprints, but I don't know. Heyo, sour. Oh, I cannot pronounce that. Sour wish do the charm. Oh, nice. Thanks for popping in. So let's see. Yeah, so timer, right? So boom, boom, boom. Do a timer looping, latent actions, yeah. How do I want to write this? Ask the computer for help here. Because I basically want to iterate and spawn these transforms. We'll spawn on these transforms through, over time. Are you making some kind of game? If so, what it's about? Yeah, I'm making a game. I'm trying to make like an action game, similar to Hades in terms of combat style. But I want to integrate card mechanics, so real-time card mechanics and deck building. So you have your character, you have different types of weapons, and you can attack, You're gonna deal damage, of course. You have different abilities, different weapons. You have a bow. You have different status effects. Enemies can do things. Right now, it's just a dummy enemy. And you can use these cards to get these resources that you can then assign abilities to. So that one turned me into a fireball. And so as you go, you can assign cards and deal damage or do whatever special things. So right now it's still in early concepts and stuff, but the goal is basically to kind of have you progress through, fight enemies, harder waves of enemies, collect cards, build deck that kind of emphasize your weapons and your play styles and things like that, and just so you can continue fighting waves and waves of enemies and just harder and harder enemies and stuff like that. Okay, so you can bind a lambda. So I feel like if I do it, then I have to like let's see. How am I supposed to do this, I wonder? I don't know why I'm so hung up on this. Sorry, addicted to petting the kitty. Still a timer. Something to this effect. Okay, let's try. So instead of doing that like this, we gotta do 4, and 32 I equals 0. Spawn count. Or I could just do, spawn transforms dot num. F timer handle. Get world. Get timer manager. Set timer. Handle. F timer delegate. Create lambda. Got that. Okay. So I believe that's what I want, but we gotta fix this. So some of this stuff I'm not passing incorrectly, right? So owner is not captured. A lot of this stuff isn't captured inside of the Lambda, which is not good. Looks cool to me. Best of luck, my friend. And if you completed it, let me know. I want to try it. Awesome. Appreciate that. It's going to be a long time, but, you know, maybe eventually. Yeah, like, I guess with this Lambda, we're just... I feel like a Lambda shouldn't really be passed in too much, but let's just do it. I'm not confident in that at all. Yeah, I just don't like the fact that I'm passing in like 10 different parameters in this fucking Lambda. So use a callback instead. Don't know if that's going to work. Let's just try. Curious if that will even compile, honestly. Okay. But I'm also not handling the case for like if it's -1, that means that we don't want to delay some. Let's just check if this works, and then we'll go from that. So my assumption here is if I make this 1, okay, so we got a crash, which is fine. Well, it's not fine, but you know what I mean. So for sure, not good. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna survive that. Wait, it doesn't like this. I guess because there's a timer, it has to be a task. How best to write this? That's not a good idea for now. It has such delays. But I guess like this is the point. We're trying to learn and try to get better at this. So let's see. So yeah, for now, let's just do it how we were doing it before. For now, I more care about the event listener. So doing something like this, right? Oops. So yeah, this event listener needs to have not just projectile, but a array. So like this. That more or less. Then on listener constructed. See, like if we don't have this just yet. Oh, we do. It's also a blueprint implementable event. I have to say, like, blueprint. Gives me this stuff, right? So I gotta. It has to have the same signature. On projectile hit. Good. I don't know if I need to get the projectile. I guess I could just say something like that. Potentially have a timer, but I don't know if that's safe. Does this work? There's also ricochet and spawned. Instantiated should be, I guess, the same thing. Let me see. View function. Blueprint native event. Void on projectile. Turned. Good projectile. So there is lifetime expired. I'll make another one. Declare dynamic multicast delegate 1 param f on projectile turned full actor then we'll do here. Then our projectile return projectile the pool. I guess it should happen like here. Then I can go back into the event listener. actor, projectile, generate. Do the same thing here. What's the name of this thing? I don't want it to be F. Okay. I want a tracker. Guess maybe I can have like public stuff here. I can say like something like that, maybe. Event listener, I can say stuff like return count plus plus. So then if return count all projectile returned. We could say like if a gas source character curious. That'll do much for me. Let's see. Okay. Binary, that's one. Okay, so this is where it's wrong. So Let's see if that's any better. Hey. Now we just gotta see what the logs say. Assuming it works. But... Okay, so they seem good. We gotta destroy this thing. I think, right? Weird that it doesn't have a destroy. I guess it can have like a mark as dirty kind of thing or mark as garbage. Mark as garbage is what it is. Oh, what you do? I'm annoying you, I'm sorry. I'm curious if this will work. I'll put breakpoints here. So we got there. So it seems like it's correctly handling it. Yeah, this is the destructor, so cool. So it seems like it works. So let me grab an event listener. Oh my god. I think I need to connect it for force. Unless. Let's just connect. Go. NPC projectile. Base. Change the listener to the enemy projectile listener. Sorry, I'm just annoying her. So we have event on projectile hit. Wondering why not using live coding and restart editor every time. It's just a force of habit. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. It just depends on if I'm mentally paying attention to what I'm doing, honestly. So let's see if this will work. Now, if we construct a damage fragment. Yo, what's up, Trash Talker? So let's deal 5 damage. Damage type physical. On hit event. I don't think we need anything there. This should just be enough. Now if we pass that in, I'm hoping now we get the hit events. Oh, we gotta combine that, I think. Yeah. Yeah, we're continuing the projectile pooling system today. We're getting close. We're at the home stretch. Today we're working on the event listener, so that, you know, because like for these projectiles, you can have listeners within the data asset itself as a fragment. You can add like a event listener, or I should say like gameplay effects fragment. And so you can apply gameplay effects if that's something as simple as that you need to do, and you have all these different events, right? When they pierce, when they hit, expire, and all that stuff. But you may want to have something a little more complex. So when we spawn these things, we added the ability to add a spawn count and also a shape fragment, so you could do like a circle and everything like that. But so for each one of these calls, so for a projectile, for 10 projectiles, we spawn one event listener, and it just listens to all the different input events for it, and you can just dynamically do whatever you kind of want with it. And so what we're going to test now that we're passing in damage, we should be able to get hit events if we get hit. So I'm hoping we get this breakpoint and nothing breaks, so let's see. Okay, either I was smooth as fuck trying to dodge those things, or there's no collision. Okay, so I did get hit. So that's good. And I did get hellos, but let me put a breakpoint in, because I thought I put a breakpoint in. And I did. But yeah, something tells me... Okay, so I'm getting a lot, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. So it is spawning 10 of these things. Let me just be certain. Because there should be just one, so that's already a problem. So I'm going to pause. Okay, so yeah, I'm spawning 10 of them, so that's the first problem. So let's back out everything, because it should just be one. So let's look. Our pooling system with shape. Okay, so I see the problem. It's because I'm spawning the event listener here on spawn and claim projectile. But I'm also adding an event listener for each time. So we're iterating over all of them and still doing that. So we have to change. Maybe it's just the issue of like ownership of what these things are doing. The reason why I'm doing this is just to kind of avoid redundant code, but maybe that's inevitable. How best to handle this, I wonder. Because I still want to spawn and clean projectile. But I guess I don't want to... Maybe there just needs to be like an internal one. Maybe. Because, you know, the quick thing I can do is just move a lot of this stuff also into this function. So if I, for example, just copy pretty much all of this, for example. So for each of these things, I have to get an available projectile. Then grab all of that. Don't need to do this. do this. And then I call that, right? And then in here, I just don't. Well, I could still do this in here. But I feel like there's an opportunity to clean that. Because, of course, I'm just doing duplicate code. So I could maybe have a, set, maybe just have an internal, like claim projectile internal function or something. Function, I don't think it has to be that, but whatever. It's going to be internal, so we're going to say a gas course projectile. Claim projectile from pool. Internal. And we're going to just pass in same stuff. Then what I'm hoping I can say and do is in here, more or less this. So instantiate data. Turn new projectile. And then I should be able to say, for example, yeah, this seems not necessary. Well, it still does, right? So should be able to get rid of this. Or I say it like claim projectile, right? And then we pass in all the same stuff. And I should be able to just do that. And then all that. That. That's right. I'm hoping that would make sense. Let's see. All good there. I hope. But now what I'm hoping with this change is now we get one event listener per call. Shouldn't have closed out all of that. So I think this one's not used, right? That one is also not used, so whatever. Okay. So let's see. We can keep the breakpoint in. We can spawn our dude. Okay, and we get hit, and awesome. We get the one event listener. So I want to also make sure we have for this event listener is also on projectile spawned returned. So this needs to be blueprint native event, generate. So I have already instantiated, so I could probably just change this on projectile spawned. Yeah, there's also the instantiator, and then we call on spawned. I guess we do call instantiated, so it seems like it's redundant. So maybe on spawned is visible, but instantiated is not, which is the case. So we should be able to, you know, of course, in blueprints handle that if we wanted to. So if we do, well, I guess I have to compile. And because we're working with the header file there, I think we should not use live coding. So I want to say, oh, big stretch. I want to say, property, blueprint read only, category projectile. I think it's the T object pointer. I feel like that's going to override the name. Say owning actor. We could just say because it's const. Did I make mine const? I feel like I shouldn't do it there. I should do it here. And I have on projectile ricochet implementation, right? I have ricochet count, so I should be able to also something like that. I want to say function blueprint native event void event listener should be able to say. That's right. So we compiled. We'll count that as a win. So now, again, what I'm hoping for is to be able to do it with some complicated logic, where I can say, you know, event on ricochet, right? So we don't even have that. So we didn't even find that. So let's fix that. So projectile on projectile ricochet. Also rename this to delegate just to keep up with the naming conventions. Oopsie. Okay, so event listener. So this delegate needs just the other actor, right? So that's what our signature needs as well. So something like that. We could do that, and I'm hoping that will work. And then we're just got to test a bunch of use cases. So the first thing we'll try to test is when we shoot a projectile and it ricochets, the total number of ricochets will influence how much healing I get at the end, right? So instead of getting healed per thing, I get healed at the end. I'm curious if this is scalable to the fact that, like, if I play a card and the card says, like, say, like, how do I want to say this? So if I play a card and the card says for the next 10 seconds, all my ricochets heal me, like, how does that kind of look in practice, like implementation, you know what I mean? Can it really be handled here? Or does there have to be like external possibly external stuff where we say like, hey, you know, anything that's listening for projectiles has this thing as well, which might be, you know, applicable. Maybe cards will also include like these fragments for like gameplay effects and stuff. I don't know. not super confident right now on this. It could be wasting my time. I don't know. So we have ricochet. So we're just gonna print string. We'll get the ricochet count. Then override on event listener end. We're gonna say this. Right, so I should be able to say something like this and call the super before it destroys itself and marks it as garbage. And now from my player, basic attack. So I have all these different fragments. Then I have my event listener, so I'll just put the enemy one in here for now. I don't have the ricochet enabled, so I'm going to just put that in. So now I'm hoping, and we can put a breakpoint here as well. Just spawn 2 dudes. I'm going to hit. Okay, so I missed. I didn't miss. I just don't have a damage fragment, I think. So there you go. This should hopefully work now. And wait. I gotta take this event listener out. The enemy NPC. Projectile. Base. Now. So I can get rid of a lot of this logic over here. So yeah, 1, 2. Shoot. Okay, we got here. Ricochet count 2. So that seems to make sense, right? So what I'm hoping I can say now is, owning actor, assumingly it's fine, but better safe than sorry. Ability system component. Apply, or I should say make outgoing, or make spec. Of course, I have to do this. Make outgoing spec. And I'm gonna make just gonna make an example gameplay effect. So GE ricochet test. And we're gonna say instant. And I mean if we do anything health wise, we should just apply damage. So let's assume a damage buff or something, right? Or critical chance modifier, right? So we're gonna do a modifier, critical chance. We're gonna say duration. We'll say 10 seconds. And we'll say critical chance is going to be additive, and it's going to be set by caller. And we'll do, I think I have like data, right? Data dot crit dot chance. So I'll make a new tag, I think. So data. That. So what I'm hoping I can do, so I have this crit chance, right? And then set caller, assign tag, magnitude, we do crit chance here, crit dot chance. And we're gonna say make No. Apply gameplay effect spec to self. Sorry. What am I looking for? Apply gameplay effect spec to self. Yeah, sorry, the sun is bright. Looking particularly holy right now. So what I'm hoping to achieve is, ricochet count times I have to do it by float, right? So can I say the float? Okay, can I just say 0.1? Oh. 2. Float. Thank you. And we'll say 20. 4.2. So in theory, my crit chance should go from 0 to 40%. At least that's the hope. So we can go into our IMGUI debug here. Should be able to find it under, I think it's not character base, is it? Or is it? So under health, there's crit chance here. And so currently my crit chance is 0. So I'm going to spawn a couple dudes. I'm going to do this. Pausing. Critical chance still is 0. So we know something went wrong. So let's debug it. When in doubt, debug it out. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, whatever, just spawn a bunch. We got here, bam, bam. Okay, so owning actor. Is unknown. So that tells me that we don't even get to this. So we call it unprojectile instantiated. Where? So we do on listener constructed. So something tells me we just don't. Yeah. I mean, I guess technically the binding here we're iterating through all of them on listener constructed, so we could just say you can get the first one, but I feel like maybe on listener constructed you can also just pass in that. I wonder if it can be weak. Yeah, it's very bright, but yeah, I can't really close the curtains too well. I can't hear. Maybe push the back. Just temporarily. So it's a little better. I could barely see the stuff on screen. So it's a little more manageable. So what's wrong here? Inappropriate type. Yeah, okay, so that is fine. That is fine. That is fine. And here. So I feel like owner and instigator. I feel like that's redundant stuff. I'm gonna get rid of owner. I'm gonna make this an A actor. Unless parameter. Ooh, excuse me. So let's go top to bottom. So instigator. Needs to be a pawn. Say a pawn. Seemed okay. Let's see. Let's see if it even compiles. Okay, it does. Pretty cool. All right, let's see if it works. Okay, we're gonna have some compile problems. It's fine. One less parameter up. Pity. Failing. The whole Earth shook. Okay, so I think there's no other compile errors. So we have our breakpoint now. So let's spawn a couple dudes. Ricochet, 1, 2, 3. So it's 2, but oh, that's fine. Running actor, me. So all this seems valid. So for 10 seconds. Let's see. I also got a bunch of crits, right? So we know that's kind of working. I'm not sure why this is doing damage over time. Okay, because I set it to do damage over time. So let's not do damage over time. Yeah, let's look at our attributes. So if I do the attack, now we see, I don't know how well you'll see it, but 0.4, so 40%. But now I have 40% crit chance, so I'm getting some crits here and there. So it sort of works, or at least works good enough, I think. So we proved that that works, and we can do fancy stuff there. We could also do on hit count. We got here, so hit count. Hit count is 0. So we know that's not working. So let's see why. We have the event listeners on projectile hit. Do we get this? Okay. We don't. So let's see. Do we even call it? I guess is the question. Okay. So when we're ricocheting, we don't broadcast this. So that's, I think, maybe a problem. It seems like it should, though. Let me see. Oh, by the way, just because I think I've never asked this before, do you have a player and enemy struct to store the entity's data, or how is it stored? Well, I mean, these are just like the player and the enemy are just, I guess, character blueprints. So most of their data, so like health and damage output. Okay, so that stuff is gameplay attributes, and so you instantiate these attributes with gameplay effects. And so you can see these attributes on the player character in this debug that I made. So you have current health, max health, all these damage and healing coefficients. You have different stamina attributes and ability stack stuff and deck attribute things and whatever. So it's stored that way on the all kind of exists on the ability system component. And so each character has that. Let's see. Do we get that broadcast? Okay, we do. Do we get this broadcast? We don't. Now, is it because I'm not calling this super? Yeah, so on projectile hit, let's call this super. Still very new to CV5, but I know CPP, so yeah, you should. It's pretty straightforward. If you're interested in the gameplay ability system in general, I recommend this documentation. It goes through the C++, so you might find it interesting. Okay, let's try this again. Spawn a guy, hit. Do we get the breakpoint? We do. So yeah, great. Okay, so we were just missing that super. So now we should be getting a similar thing for hit. And again, I don't know. Like, I don't know how scalable this is for the type of things I want to do. So maybe that's like my mistake of like trying to develop something without really having the real design intention for it. Because, like, for example, if I have a card that that does this instead, right? Where it dynamically tells me that, okay, for each projectile that ricochets, for the total number of ricochets, you get a certain bonus or something, right? For X seconds, right? So, like, how do I do this? Like, can I guess what I can do is have gameplay events that, you know, get all this information and send it back to some dormant gameplay ability. So I send a couple, I guess my problem is, like, how do I store this information correctly? Like, would I have to send information too much, too often? Like, gameplay events, I don't know how expensive they are, you know, how often I'll be sending them, but it seems like a path forward. Also just noticed, so if I have crit, does it also apply to me? Like my received? Yeah, so that's also a bug. Gotta fix that, I think. Because this is damage applied to me, I don't want to be doing crit damage to myself. It's kind of funny though. So let me hit a couple times. No, I'm just doing crit, right? So I'll need to fix that bug too. Let me write that down. Crit chance and damage is applied to self when conflicted with self damage. Maybe that could be an interesting mechanic. I don't know, but for now, I'm gonna consider it a bug. So, and like, you know, potentially I could have just one event listener that is just listening to like all these things where, like, you know, on projectile hits, it sends a gameplay event. When it ricochets, it sends a gameplay event, and it can track it here for each of those attacks and stuff. So maybe that could work. I don't know, but for sure it's working. We just gotta also do the piercing. And, you know, on Pierce, I don't know if we really need it, because you should get the hit event when you get into Pierce and everything like that. So I would say we need to maybe have it, we'll add it to our to-do list and we'll come back to it. To handle multiple spawn requests in one function, we sort of do that. And a possible concern, again, like, was we don't really have much of a delay factor with like our spawning of projectiles, which we kind of wanted. So I don't know how well that's going to work with this event listener, because if we have like, you know, delays, you know, 0.1 second delay between each one, you know, how do we make sure to update the event listener so we know, hey, also listen to this one and this one, this one. And make sure that it does what we want to be doing. Because I just got, maybe I took like a whole brute force here. Yeah. So just think out loud. I think we're on the right track. I think I just need to make a bunch of events. So make gameplay events for projectile based events. Like on ricochet, hit, like, do I need to do like on total ricochet so that, you know, you get all the counts and then go from there? Or do you have it dormant and you listen to the ricochets and then you listen to like maybe an ending one as well? But how do you make sure you're listening to like the right ones, right? Worth thinking about a little bit more. So we've been going for an hour and a half. I do want to just see if I can do this spiral shape that ChatGPT recommended. I'll see if I can get it to work. So there's also multiple rings too. We could try that as well. But yeah, Fibonacci golden angle. So let's close out. Let's go into our data. Let's make a new fragment. We'll do, instead of cone, we will do what's the word? Spiral. For spiral, we need number of turns. So float or just int, I guess. We'll say equals 1. Spawn radius, yeah. That should be enough. And then we get here, and then we get to the shape. If const f projectile spawn shape spiral fragment this So spiral turns is going to be equal to current fragment. Got number of rotations. So is count the right one? Yeah. Radius. We can also just do radius. That. And I just need to this. So that's spawn position. So do I do spawn direction as well? I mean, I could do vector spawn direction. Yeah, and then this. How do I fit this correctly in this thing? Like that, right? I hope. We'll have to see what this looks like in practice. Oh, we got the kitty back here. Doing her own thing, though. Hey, so let's go NPC projectile base. Let's change this count to 20, just to see if we see anything interesting. And then yeah, we'll change the shape to spiral. So we'll say number of rotations, spawn rotation like that. Let's just see what that gives us. Not much. So if we make this 5, does that change anything? Not much, really. So it points along a spiral great further. So am I missing something? So yeah, there's this spawn position, current radius. It's T. So something's off about that, right? What if I make the radius smaller? Let's see, 20. Not much. Does the shape change at all? So instead of 5, what if I made it 2? 2 doesn't change from how it was originally. Where's when it gets kind of funky. I thought pooling was finished. Yeah, you wish. No, we're still working on it. Just trying to play around with different spawn shapes. Apparently doesn't really work, the spiral one. Spawn origin plus vector f math angle rad times current radius. So spawn position seems off. So I just changed this into int32. Do I have to do this? Well, I guess it has to be still, right? So count I feel like I should be getting good numbers. Side of that. Can I draw? Let's see. Yeah, so after we try to do a couple shapes, or just this one shape, and we can leave it alone for now. I want to make sure we can populate gameplay events for projectile-based events. And then I want to, we already did the event handler object. We got to re-add AoE spawning. So still a bit more, unfortunately. Okay, so does it not? We get here? Radius is also pretty small. Crank up the radius. Because I want to see what these positions are. 100. And then we'll have to call it a night shortly. Okay, so fingers crossed, gang. So they're all there. And I guess it's because of the radius. So let me make it 1,000. I just want to see if that'll affect where they're spawning. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, spiral turns doesn't really make much sense of what it's doing. I guess it's just like how many pegs there are. So if I do like 2. Okay, so now I see this spiral, right? But what's a reasonable value? 100? $500? 300 maybe? I guess the problem is, like, they're all being spawned at the same time, so you don't really get that sense of a spiral. And so, like, if I make the radius too big, no, that's the issue that we see. So, I don't know. Without making it like an async task to have these things kind of spawn with some sort of delay, I don't see that working. And I just want to see if I do spawn and... So spawn and plane projectile. I could still just pass in my own transform, right? So I could, in theory, just do... So I guess in theory, let's see. Just one quick check. Messy blueprint is messy. Can I diff this real quick? I haven't touched that in December. It's kind of crazy. We just set the velocity that way. Okay. I'm curious if this would work. Still. I need the spawn transform. Just this location. So I don't know. Will this work? Okay, so it doesn't have gravity, which is fine. Because in our data, we have the collision fragment, and we gotta say use gravity. Gravity scale can be 1. So now, it should work. If he sees me. Okay. But for whatever reason, it doesn't match. Well, I guess it kind of does. No. Let me look at the old projectile. Projectile movement. Gravity scale 1. Rotation follows velocity, which I think is the default. Just dip it again. So am I doing anything projectile speed-wise? Seems like it's just the transform and everything. We do during next tick or something. I just want to make sure I'm seeing this correctly, because this velocity doesn't match what I'd be expecting it to be doing. It should be getting to the center, right? It's not close. Let's double check. Spawn a dude, and then we'll probably have to come back to this on Thursday. So we shoot it. So out velocity is this. And then we get to here, movement comp. We can look at the velocity, I guess, if it shows. So velocity is that. Like maybe there can be a, override velocity thing, but the get velocity, I'm gonna move this here. I'm gonna set that, and then I'm gonna print it. And we'll just see what the velocity is, because my assumption is I'm not going to get the right velocity. So we're going to get some value that's not 9999, right? So 200 by 693. Okay. If I do get the right value, it seems like it's correct now, but I'm not understanding why. Yeah, that's like very misleading. I don't know if I need to update the velocity. Do I have to have like a update, like a manual thing? It's like when we instantiate everything, we are also setting the velocity, right? So we could velocity this, right? The direction vector is here, I guess, which I guess is a problem. Because even if we change the velocity, it's not going to be correct. Well, actually, that's not where I'm doing that. Where are we? So common properties for rotation velocity. Yeah. So here, right? So instantiate projectile movement. So the direction is the forward vector. Of the projectile. So like the rotation. So possibly what I could do is that rotation. Not exactly. Kind of, but not really. So there has to be cases where like projectile movement fragment, maybe it needs to be like a projectile like parabolic movement or something. So yeah, we'll have to do that next time, I think. A fixed parabolic movement. Allow for more custom velocity overrides. Because like how I would imagine it then is like we take this movement fragment out and we could do like instantiate, you know, like do the movement fragment in a different way. Because then basically the new velocity is not going to be this, it's just going to be like the incoming velocity. So I think that might be what we'll do next time. So that's where I'm going to end it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you aren't already subscribed on YouTube, make sure to subscribe there. If you aren't already following me here on Twitch, a follow is always appreciated. Make sure to join our Discord, hang out, share your work, learn together. And yeah, we'll probably stream on Thursday, I hope. But otherwise, we'll have to do it sometime next week. But slowly but surely, we're getting there. We're covering the use cases that we need. So we just gotta create a new one called projectile parabolic movement or something like that. And so what we would do then is just have this additional fragment here and construct the parabolic movement. Or we could just have, you know, override velocity or something, right? Yeah. Like I said, that's all I'm gonna call it. Have a good night, guys. See you soon.